What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out the latest electric scooter from G-Force. The one that we have here is the S10 model. So this is an electric scooter that's powered by a 500 watt motor that we have in the rear wheel here. This has a peak power of 800 watts. According to the manufacturer, you can get up to 50 kilometers on one charge. We'll talk more about that later on in the video. And this scooter has a top speed of about 40 kilometers an hour. Now, I'm saying about 40 kilometers an hour because it will really depend how heavy you are. For me personally, I was able to see this scooter going at 38 kilometers an hour. But of course, if you're a bit lighter than me, you may be able to see this going 40-42 kilometers an hour. We also have 10-inch wheels on the front and on the back, and we have disc brakes on the front and on the back. These are mechanical disc brakes, but they do work really well. All right, so let's start by showing you what comes in the box with this scooter and how it comes packed in the box. Alright, so as you'd expect, the scooter comes in a fairly big box, but this is definitely not the heaviest box out there. So the actual scooter weighs about 15 kilos. So this is lighter than most other scooters that I got to try. The scooter comes packed really well in the box, but you do have to do a bit of an installation. So you basically have to put the handlebar together, but it only takes about 5 minutes to do that. So you should have this ready and on the road within 10 minutes, I'm gonna say. Alright, and coming back to our scooter, so this is also a foldable scooter. So we have the folding mechanism right here. We do have like a safety pin. Basically pull this down and then this folds like this. Now the problem with this is the fact that this doesn't latch on the back here. So you can fold it, but you cannot carry it like most scooters, because with most scooters you just lift them up from here. Well, this one doesn't have a latching mechanism. So even though you can fold it, you cannot carry it, so you're gonna have to lift it up from the bottom or something like that. As I said, this is not the heaviest scooter out there. It only weighs about 15 kilos, but still it would have been nice if this would latch into place. Now the folding mechanism here does work really well, so it doesn't move, doesn't shake, doesn't make any noises. So I was happy with the folding mechanism, but as I said, it doesn't latch on. I also love the fact that the handlebar here is adjustable in height. So you can make this lower, you can make this higher, so it fits your height better. So you could even have a kid riding this scooter because you can just lower this. So a very nice feature, and I wish more scooters would actually have adjustable height for the handlebar. The build quality on the S10 is also fairly good. So the scooter is made out of a combination of metal, plastic, and this surface here, so basically where you're standing, that kind of feels like sandpaper, if I can describe it that way. So whenever you have your feet here, your feet aren't gonna slip. And this is also bigger than most other scooters out there. So you can easily have both feet on the board here, on the standing board, if we can call it that. Now, I'm not a big fan of the mudguard that we have on the back here. So this is made out of plastic. And you're gonna hear later on when we go for a ride, this kind of makes a lot of noise when you go over bumps and so on. Now on the back here, we also have a fairly big rear light. So we have one on the right and one on the left, and we also have signal lights. Now, unfortunately, you can't really see those signal lights during the day, but if you're riding in the evening or at night, those signal lights do light up pretty nicely. That rear light also acts as a brake light whenever you're braking. The 10-inch tires that we have on the back and of course on the front are also inflatable. So you can make them harder or softer, and of course if you make them softer, your ride comfort will be better. Now you've probably noticed by now that on the front here we also have a little shock. Now this doesn't have that much travel. It travels about 2.5 centimeters, so about an inch. But I guess it helps when you go over uneven terrain. But if the terrain is fairly flat, it doesn't actually do anything. But overall, the ride is quite comfortable because of the tires that, as I said, you can make harder or softer. On the left hand side here we also have the kickstand. The kickstand is made out of metal. Now this is not the sturdiest kickstand out there, but it does work fairly good. So I haven't actually had the scooter falling over at any point. So it works relatively good, I'm gonna say. Now on the front here we have the same mudguard that I mentioned earlier, and once again this one does make a bit of noise when you go over bumps or uneven terrain. Now on the front of the scooter here we have the light. So this one has a daytime running light around here. So this big oval, I'm gonna say it's the daytime running light. And then you have the actual light in the center. So you can clearly see that during the day, and at night it will light up the path ahead of you really well as well. The charging port is located on the right hand side of the scooter, and of course the battery pack is located right here. So charging the scooter from 0 to 100 takes about 6 to 7 hours, and on one charge, according to the manufacturer, you can get up to 50 kilometers of range. Now for me, my weight and the roads that we have around here, because we do have a lot of hills, I'm able to get about 30 kilometers on one charge. Again, if you're lighter than me, you may be able to get more. If you're riding slower than me, you may be able to get more. But at the same time, if you're heavier and if you ride faster, you'll probably get even less. But you should be able to get around 30 kilometers on one charge. Moving to the handlebar. So the handlebar is nice and wide, so I don't have a problem on riding the scooter. The grips here don't tend to move no matter what I do. Right here on the left hand side we do have some buttons, so you do have buttons so you can signal. Remember I mentioned earlier the scooter can signal those rear lights. We also have the horn. I'll show you how that sounds. Not the loudest, but I think it's good enough. And of course we have the button for the lights, and you can also switch modes. So of course if you want to ride the fastest that the scooter can go, so around 40 kilometers an hour, that's gonna be in mode number 3. We also have the brake levers here. Of course these are made out of plastic. As I mentioned earlier, these are mechanical disc brakes, but they do work really well, so no problems with the brakes. They don't squeak or anything like that. In the center here we have the display. Now this isn't the brightest display out there. Like even today I can kind of see it, but it's not the most clear display out there. But if you're riding at night, of course you're gonna be able to see it really nice. And on the display you're gonna be able to see your speed, how much battery you have, how many kilometers you've done, and so on. And moving to the right hand side of the handlebar, of course we have the second brake, and we also have the accelerator. Now with this scooter you don't have to kickstart it to get going basically. So you can accelerate from here. So if I touch this, it accelerates. Personally I prefer scooters like this, but if you're not that experienced with scooters and you touch this by mistake, the scooter could go on by itself. So that's not gonna be a great thing. So keep that in mind. As soon as you touch this, the scooter will go. Alright, so next I'm gonna take you on a short ride. I'll basically get that camera, put it on my chest here, just so I can show you how the scooter accelerates, how it sounds when you go over bumps, how the motor sounds on it. So for me, I find that this scooter has plenty of power. That 500 watt motor works really well. So mostly on flat surfaces you have no problem whatsoever. You can definitely keep up with traffic. And the power delivery is also pretty smooth. So when you're accelerating, it doesn't just jerk you. It goes nice and smooth, so I do like that. And with that being said, let me grab that camera and we'll go for a short ride. Alright, so let's go for a quick ride. So to power this on, you basically hold this button pressed for about 3 seconds, I'm gonna say. I'm not sure if you can actually see the screen because it is quite bright out. And from here we are gonna change modes. So I'm gonna put it in mode number 3. That's basically the top speed, but the modes don't actually modify the power of the scooter, just the top speed. So to start going, you basically just accelerate and the scooter will start going. As you can see, the power delivery is quite smooth. We're gonna do a brake test. So we're doing about 30 kilometers an hour. And we'll brake from here. So pretty good braking, I think. And as you can see, as I said, the acceleration is quite smooth, so not jerky at all. So if you have enough empty road ahead of you, you can reach about 40 kilometers an hour. So we'll stop somewhere around here and we're gonna turn around. And we'll go this way. But very easy to ride this scooter because it is also quite light. We We also have cruise control, so if you hold the accelerator press for about 6-7 seconds or something like that, it kind of goes into cruise control, and to cancel that you either tap the brakes or the accelerator once again. So there you have it. This is the G-Force S10 Electric Scooter. For a city scooter, I feel that it does really good. The 500-watt motor has plenty of power for pretty much all situations. Now, if you're riding uphill, of course, if the hill is too steep, it's not going to be able to go up the hill. But it does better than most other scooters that I got to try. So for a 500-watt motor, I feel that it does really well. It is fast enough for pretty much everyone, I'm gonna say. The range is decent at about 30 kilometers for one charge, and I love the fact that the scooter is quite light, so you could carry it pretty easily. However, when you fold it, you can't really carry it because, as I said, it doesn't have a latching mechanism. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.